Incarnation. It is one of the most beautiful gifts you will ever receive in your life. Incarnation is one of the most beautiful things that you can cherish. And anyone who has incarnated here for a reason. If you are here, and you know you're here, if you are alive, if you are watching this, if you have consciousness, you are here for a reason. It doesn't matter the reason you're here. Some people, they focus on the reason. Why is that life better than my life? How can you can change your life. You can be inspired. But each of our lives is going to be different. It's going to be particular. It's going to be peculiar. It's going to have its own little idiosyncrasies. And it's important to remember that your incarnation here, your being here, means that you're here for a reason. You're here to stay. And it's something that I think what's happened is that we don't often talk about incarnation. We're talking about everything else. Climate change and war and politicians and mortgages and careers. But we forget the fundamental root, the root of our being, the root of us is this incarnation. That the soul incarnates into a body. We've discussed it before, right? We've discussed it before that you came here to learn. You came here to learn and to experience. That's why you came here. If getting rich is part of your learning, then that's your path. If raising a family is part of your learning, then that's your path. Or any combination thereof. We're in this phase now where we can achieve almost anything, especially in the developed world. You know, you could be anything. You can change careers every couple of years. I could change my career. So we are in this, you know, this level of profundity. Technology is spurring us forward, but it doesn't change. None of what's happening. Because if you look at climate change, well, before climate change, there was war. There was famine. Before famine, there was disease, right? There was polio. There was an outbreak. There was the plague, right? There's always been something that has to be held over the head of the society. They have to hold that over you, so you don't remember things like, I came here for a reason. Climate change. Did we come here to fight climate change? Is that what's important? Is the climate going to finally destroy the entire world? The answer is no. But the media is designed to make you feel that, right? Climate change, there's going to be an invasion. No, you know, the world's going to blow up. The world's gonna end. There's gonna be a disaster. So all these things are distractions. We know that. We're not gonna get into it in this topic, in this video, but we're gonna focus on incarnation. Incarnation, we should be talking about incarnation in the media. Incarnation. You came here for a reason. We might get there one day. Give it a few years, maybe 5, maybe 10 years from now. I am one of the very few people talking about incarnation. Because incarnation is like a taboo word. It's like a bad word, incarnation. It's got like this religious context, and it's associated with Adam and Eve. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case. The case is it's a scientific process. It's a scientific process of transferring a soul into a body, an embryo, a child in the womb. And then the soul taking root in the body and becoming flesh so that they can make videos. Incarnation is very important. I think we should cherish that we have come, it says we have come here for a reason. It's not an accident. It's not an accident that you're here. Right? And when you realize you're incarnated and you understand that incarnation is a process and you are involved in that process, that everything you have are doing or will do was decided in agreement with you, with your goals, with your karmic situation. All of that was pre-decided before incarnation. Pre-incarnation. It's not an easy thing to incarnate. It's a very difficult, complicated, complex process to incarnate, because you have to think, what do I want to learn? What other worlds are there? What is my stage in my spiritual growth? What kind of karma am I carrying? Right? Where can I go? What are my options? I could be a man or a woman. I could be a dog or a yak. Why not become a yak? Try selling those up there. Hey, who wants to become we need a couple more yaks. Or a llama. Why not become a llama? A llama. Or a turtle. Why, right? You pick human. In the human, you picked a certain race. In the race, you picked a certain gender. In the gender, you picked a certain class. In the class, you picked a certain career. And a bunch of soulmates. Things you wanted to do. All of this was pre-incarnation. So that everything you have here is not an accident. You're not here because of an accident. You're not here because of a mistake. I think when you think I'm here by accident, I don't know why I'm here. Must be an accident. But that's not the way to approach it. You're here for a reason, I just don't remember. And that's where you pursue it, you explore, you test yourself. You learn, you study, you remember. That's your obligation. Your obligation is to figure it out. You can't sit there and say, well, it was an accident. I don't know, it was a mistake. It's not a mistake. You don't make all these decisions as a mistake. You know, you're gonna go to Italy for 6 weeks, and you're gonna stay in a 5-star hotel, and you got all of your travel plans worked out, and you booked a ticket in the airline. And you packed your bags, and you got your passport, your visa. You've requested a special meal, your taxis. All of that's an accident. When you get to Italy, you're like, hey, we got here by accident. We shouldn't even be here. I don't deserve to be here. Let's stay in our nice hotel and look at the itinerary. It just appeared. I don't know, it just happened. The airplane just took us here. We landed here. The taxi just took us to the hotel, and our names happened to be on the suite. And it wasn't the best suite. Service was okay, but hey, since we're here, why not make test the best of it? And then you're here for, you're on vacation for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, what happens? At the end of your vacation, your travel, your learning, you return back home. Now, while Earth is not necessarily a vacation, it is an amusement park of sorts. You can say it's an amusement park. I think that's an applicable term. It's an amusement park. It's a school. I like that one. It's a school. But you're not here by accident. So if you don't remember why you came here and what you're going to do, just look around what you have. The friends you have, the parents, the lifestyle, your interests. Those are the things you chose. I chose my parents. Maybe you don't like your parents. Why did you choose parents like that? Maybe your parents are great. Why did you choose parents that are great? Why are your friends the way they are? What does that reflect upon you? What does that tell you about your learning? Where are they in life? And maybe that's where you're there. Are you with them? Are you helping them? Are you a teacher? Are you a helper? There's a lot of people. So some people come here, to learn, and some people come here to teach. And still, if you're a teacher, you're still learning. I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for many years and decades, and I'm still learning. I have to learn. I can't teach without learning, because you run out of things to teach. So you have to keep learning. So you're always learning. You're always experiencing. And there's that fixed time. You're here for a certain period of time. Here we call it years. I'm here for a certain number of years. And then it's time to go. Eventually it'll be time to go. You can't decide. Some people think they can decide when to go. I don't know why I'm here. I'm not happy. I got some bad feelings. I'm guilty. I got some regrets. I don't like it here. But you can't decide that. You are not allowed. You are not allowed to decide when you go. That's like cutting your vacation short for no reason at all. The fact is that when it's time to go, it's time to go. The system decides that. It's pre-decided. There will be exit points. In your contract, in your incarnation contract, there are exit points. And if you reach an exit point, you might exit, or there might be a transformation, right? You have a choice. Now, in most cases, I think in most cases, the choice is to stay, to push through and go to the learning. And on those junctures, or those exit points, that's when you decide, can I make some changes? You might make big changes to your life, you might make small changes. But, exiting is a really bad choice. And trust me, when it's time to go, you'll go. They know when it's time to go, and they'll take you. So, while you're here, get involved. Figure it out. Life, I'm not the only one to say it. Life can be difficult at times. We've all had challenges in life. I've had my challenges in life. And after I've had many challenges, when I think I've overcome all my challenges, there are new challenges. And when I've overcome those new challenges, there are more challenges, things I've never thought of before, things that I've never dealt with before. So I used to think, well, gee, this is an overload. This is overkill. And then as I woke up, I realized, well, it's not overkill because I have overcome the other challenges. And the only way to really grow is to always have a challenge. Like if life was easy, you wouldn't grow. If everyone you knew was nice to you, you wouldn't learn anything. When you got some people who don't like you, that's when you learn something. When you have a challenge, that's when you have to force yourself to grow. Or you can say, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Then you don't grow. Then you're deciding not to grow. But the challenge is there for you to grow. And you have sometimes it's so perplexing and overwhelming that you have to change your approach. You have to really step outside of yourself and say, well, I have to deal with this thing. I can deal with it now or I can deal with it later, but I have to deal with it. I know nothing about it, so how do I deal with it? Or do I deal with it? Some people, they get spiritual and they say, I'm just going to throw compassion at it. Compassion. I'm going to throw forgiveness. I'm just going to forgive. I'm just going to accept everything. Yes, beat me again. But you're not growing. You're kind of avoiding growth, right? Sometimes you have to say, you have to piss somebody off. Sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves. Sometimes people won't like you. This is especially true. Some of the people coming here, they're very kind and helpful. So they don't want to have a conflict. They don't want to create animosity. They don't want people not to like them. I want everybody to like me. And that will work so far, so long, and at some point, some people will never like you, no matter what you do. They just don't like you. You could save 100 children. They still won't like you. And as you get older, you realize this. You realize that some people will never like you. Some people will hate you. Some people couldn't care less about you. And there are others who love you and respect you, and they trust you no matter what. There's always this balance. So life is difficult. Sometimes it's overwhelming. But that doesn't change anything, because you still have to go forward. You still have to live. You have to make those hard decisions. You're going to make the wrong decisions. You're going to make mistakes. If you come back to the fact that you incarnated here, right? You incarnated. That means you're here for a reason. And until they take you away, you have to remain. And if you're going to be here, you might as well enjoy the process. And that's what you get when you find like a spiritual leader or a monk who's been studying and meditating and increasing self-awareness. You find that when they hear about tragedies or bad things and you're dealing with trouble, they laugh, right? Somebody comes to them, gee, my child's in the hospital and my husband's left me. And the monk will just start, you're fortunate to be alive, you know. You're fortunate to have these problems because they're giving it to you to learn something. Because you haven't learned something. You haven't learned something, they'll say. You need to learn. If you had learned it, they wouldn't happen to you. So this is for you. It's a gift. It's a learning. It's a teaching. And the woman is like, you know, she's in tears. Why are you laughing? Because the person understands. Spirituality is about understanding the root of existence. The root. That beneath the surface, there's a root. Incarnation is a root. It is proof, it is evidence that life is not a mistake. And I laugh because some people think it's a mistake, right? I'm not supposed to be here. I don't belong here. Ooh, that's another one. But the root is, you do belong here. There's no mistake that you wouldn't have all these things in your life without those preconditions, the preparation for the journey. So when you accept the root, and when you understand that things are given to you for you to learn, then you're no longer the victim, right? You're no longer the victim of all this harshness. And you're kind of saying, I understand that I need to be more proactive. I need to be a better student. I need to embrace my reason for being here. And if I don't know that reason, I need to figure it out. You know, when you're young, the biggest thing I learned about when I was young is, as a kid, when I needed something, I asked my parents, and they told me how to think. I asked my teachers in school, and they told me how to think. But when you get older, you have to think for yourself. And so you have to find role models, and you have to make your own decision. If someone says to me, well, that person is bad, as an adult, I have to decide, do I agree with that person, or do I have my own opinion? And if I don't agree with them, that's going to cause a problem with our friendship. I don't agree with you. And that's right, when you get older, you're going from this being told what to think and learning to think for yourself. And that was a very important lesson for me, learning to think for myself. And when I woke up, when I became more aware, I had to do that same thing because I began to see the world differently. And I began to see other things. I could enter altered states. I could see into other dimensions. I could communicate with other beings. I could communicate with the dead. And so people told me, well, that doesn't exist. That's not true. Maybe you're crazy. And I had to think for myself. Do I agree with this person who has no knowledge, who's very negative, uneducated, and not awake? Or do I trust myself? Do I know myself enough to trust the things that I am experiencing? And there were times that were challenging because some people, they're very aggressive to tell you that doesn't exist. And all the things that I began to discuss 14 years or 15 years ago are now, I've now entered like mainstream, right? The conspiracies and the aliens, they've entered mainstream consciousness. And it's just a matter of a few more years before more stuff enters mainstream consciousness and more ideas filter through and bubble up into consciousness. And it gives me a lot of, what do you call it? It gives me a great feeling because I'm not crazy. And had I listened to those people, I wouldn't have continued my work. I wouldn't have become who I am. I wouldn't be making these videos. That doesn't say we get everything right. In life, you don't get everything right. And people say, well, if you get one thing wrong, it's over, it's finished. No. I've made some bad videos. So what? So what? Has anybody ever had a bad day at work? Does that mean it's the end of your work? It's the end of your career? You had a bad week, a bad year, your sales are down, you're no good salesman anymore, throw you out? It's the same thing. When you get in the esoteric stuff, when you get into the alternative stuff, there's a lot higher requirement. You're supposed to live like a saint, and you're supposed to walk on water, and you're supposed to be pure thoughts. And that's just not the case. That is all of that preconditioning, all the religious, spiritual, scripture stuff. It's not true. To me, talking about alternative stuff is just another profession. And it's a profession. It comes with a lot of conditions. It comes with a lot of training. And it doesn't change the fact that I'm a person, right? The best brain surgeon, they have breakdowns. They get divorced. It doesn't take away from who they are, right, as a brain surgeon. So you go through this life and you're growing up. It doesn't matter the level, because I'm at this level in this, we're talking about awareness, we're talking about cosmic knowledge, but most people are living basic lives. It would be nice to live a basic life. I'm not able to do it. So it doesn't matter. The point is, it doesn't matter if you're raising a family, being a celebrity, or talking about alternative stuff, being a shaman. It doesn't matter, because everything comes from the root, incarnation. That's all that matters. Incarnation, you're here for a reason. The shaman is no better than the celebrity, and the celebrity is no better than the family. They're all equal. We need families, and we need celebrities, and we need shamans. Right? We don't want too many celebrities, we don't want too many shamans, we don't want too many butchers and bakers, and right? We don't want too many kids in school at once. We need it all. All come from the same root. The root is incarnation. We're all here for a reason. There's no better reason, there's no worse reason. You come here, you do your time, and when your time's up, you go. That's guaranteed. I will guarantee when your time is up, you go. If that's tomorrow, if that's next year, if that's when you're 95, it's not up to you. But it's a gift. It doesn't matter what you do. It's a gift to be here. And if you're alive, you're here. And you've been given this gift. And that can never be changed. No matter what you do. If you sweep the floor, or you cut grass, or you're writing your next novel, it doesn't change the root. Incarnation. It is a wonderful, incredible, truly remarkable gift. And we should appreciate it. And we appreciate it by saying, I love who I am. I love what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to make a few changes, but I'm still going to be the same person. And if somebody doesn't like that, it's too bad. Not everyone's going to like it. You have to like it. At the end, you have to explain why you didn't learn the things you're supposed to learn, why you didn't do the things you're supposed to do. And if you don't do it enough of it, you got to come back. And I'll leave you with this. Anybody who is aware, who has ascended, it's a big fancy word, anybody who's aware knows that the goal is not to come back. The goal is to complete the learning, to complete your obligations. It's not to come back. That's the goal, to end the reincarnation cycle. That is a more advanced goal. Some people may not understand it, but the few who do